What is it about the March on Washington that made you say, you know, I got to take a bus and I have to go there, I can't miss this? Like, what is it that drew you to that event?
It was, well, I remember at some point I said to myself, I can't go forward and tell my kids that all this was happening and I did nothing.
When Lorene King boarded a bus from Peoria, Illinois to Washington, D.C. in August of 1963, she had no idea she would be attending what is now revered as the most influential protest of the civil rights movement, the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom.
I didn't realize the significance of it at that time, though.
King, now 78 years old, was just 17 when she and a bus full of family, friends, and other activists journeyed nearly 800 miles to the nation's capital to march alongside 250,000 Americans in the fight for civil rights and job opportunities for Black Americans.
We just knew we were trying to make things better for the people that came behind us.
Keeping their eyes on the prize was not always easy because they had no lodging reservations since most hotels didn't welcome Black people. All they had was a few snacks and packed lunches, hoping that this would be the protest to move the needle forward in securing Black Americans the rights, freedoms, and protections they deserved.
But I know that I was just amazed that here all these people had come together. And you think about it, there were like about 250,000 people in a peaceful protest about the situation. There was no violence at that gathering in 1963. Nobody even thought about being violent.
Right, because that's not what it was about.
That's not what it was about. It was to come and let our voices be heard.
While the March on Washington was the largest protest King had attended, it wasn't the first nor the last.
Well, you know, we were marching and sitting in to get jobs, and we were picketing, for voting rights.
King had gotten involved in the civil rights movement in the early 1960s when she moved from Memphis, Tennessee to Peoria to attend Bradley University. Unlike Peoria, Memphis was completely segregated.
Because my school was all Black, the neighborhood was all Black. Other than that, I didn't have interactions with anybody, from other ethnicities or backgrounds.
So it wasn't until she attended Bradley that she met a white person. King recalls her interactions with her white classmates as positive, saying she doesn't remember any issues on campus.
There were no situations, nothing negative came out of it. Like we had dances at the student center, and you dance with the whites and the Blacks.
King says that was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream that he told the world about at the March on Washington.
My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Where do you think we are in terms of that dream that we all talk about, but are we actually living up to it, in your opinion?
On a small scale. As I told you, it seemed like we were retrogressing.
King points to voter suppression as one of the ways we're moving backward. According to the Brennan Center for Justice, at least 14 states enacted restrictive voting laws in 2023. Some of those include implementing stricter requirements to acquire a mail-in ballot, tightening ID and proof of residency requirements to register to vote, shortening the mail-in ballot deadline, and banning same-day registration. As someone who marched with Dr. King and fought so hard for voting rights, and to see this kind of regression, how does that feel?
It makes me very sad, surely from here.
Sure, that's tough. Now, there will come a time when those who lived through the civil rights movement won't be here to tell their own stories. It'll be up to the history books to keep future generations informed of what they went through, both the tragedies and the triumphs.
If they just read the history, then they'll know that the people who succeeded and the people who made a difference and the people who didn't give up and didn't turn around, people who didn't stop going forward.
Right.
Yes.
The people who didn't stop marching.
But the one thing I know for sure, we can't stop. So even if we have to go all over again and go through all those steps again, marching and all that, we have to do it. Because it's worthy, it's worthwhile. We have to do it.
Reporting in Peoria with news producer Shakayla Thomas, I'm Erin Brown with 25 News.